Morning, Raquel.
Good morning, Caitlin.
How are you?
I'm good. Remind me what you wanted me to talk about on the agenda. Can you remind me? I wrote notes, but then I
Yeah,
misplaced.
just like the basic council function review for new members and current members, just to kind of remind them, what the purpose of this council is, and basically like not using this council as like a platform for individual agendas, but how to kind of relate it back to the council as a whole, even though, their personal professional backgrounds and their communities have provided them valuable information, how to bring that into like the larger system reformation as opposed to just like their individual ones.
Yeah, got you.
Yeah. How's your day going so far?
Good. I'm trying to raise $20,000 in 2 weeks for a recovery house for women and children. So,
Man.
um, we thought we had all the money in our hand and went through the loan process. And Saturday, I got a text message that I have to have X amount of dollars, even though I have a state grant guaranteed, right? That it doesn't matter. I have to have cash in the bank for this extra $20,000, which just infuriates me. So I have to raise it. So we're massively trying to raise $20,000 because it's a recovery house. It'll be the only recovery home in northern El Paso County. We don't have anything.
Oh,
So it's the
wow.
first and only.
Okay.
And it's in the place where I recovered. So, and we didn't have any options. So I'm really passionate. So
Yes.
I'm gonna, since we're not starting, I'm gonna push my personal agenda really quick. But it's also the state agenda because the state's funding it. So it's a recovery home for women and children. So before we get to an official meeting, I'm gonna go ahead and push that bad boy.
Hi, Raquel. Good to see you.
Hi, Andrea.
Sorry. I haven't been on it so long. I was like, that is exactly what I wanted to pop onto. I'm sorry. It's too funny.
Personal agenda, not. It's actually state, but yeah.
It's all the same agenda, right? We're all pulling in the same direction, frankly.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
should
it's
be.
actually providing, it's a better Colorado. That's what we're doing. I always tell everybody we're part of making Hard Beauty gets to be a piece of creating a recovery ready Colorado, right? Just for as a whole. We're just a small piece of it though.
Let's do it. Caitlin, Shane, I sent you a chat.
Good morning, Tasha.
Yes.
Hello, Coach. Yeah.
Right now, Andrea, you're a panelist, so you're just saying our view. Once I start the meeting, because we're in a practice session right now, quote unquote. So once I start that, Shane, if you can help me try and remove Andrea as a panelist so she can see public view, just to make sure everybody can see everybody.
I'm gonna pop out. You guys try to bump me down in permissions, and then I'll rejoin. Cool.
Actually, don't move, Andrea. Stay right there.
Move. Never mind. Shane says hold
Shane's
still.
on top of it, everybody.
Okay, I think we're good.
Good morning, Tasha. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Good morning. I just woke up, so.
Fair. It's closer to Friday we get, the harder I feel like it is to wake up. So.
Right.
All right.
It's good to see everybody.
Start the webinar so we can see. Perfect. Hello, everybody. Hi, Dr. Rob. Good to see you. Let's see here. Got one interpreter in the channel. Still have a couple more minutes before we get rolling. I'm gonna go ahead and Tasha drop that. I'm gonna drop that pre-packet meeting in the chat for you to read over the ASL and closed captioning today, if that's okay. Do you want me to read it this time?
I'm reading today.
Yeah, if you don't want to read it today, I'm fine to read it. And then we'll go over the pre-meeting packet as a whole since we're not using the slide decks anymore. But I just wanted to get the ASL interpretation and closed captioning mentioned as we get it started. So if you want to read it, great. If not, I'm happy to read it. You just let me know.
Can you read it so I can see how it's done?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Hello, Dr. Archuleta. What's up, Doc?
Hi, Raquel. How are you?
Wonderful.
Hi, Tosh. Hi, Whitney.
Hi,
Hello,
Dr. Rob.
Whitney.
Hello, Whitney.
Is it cold enough for everybody or what?
We'll talk tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because today's not it. Tomorrow's about to be. My kid went to school with shorts today, and we live on the Palmer Divide. And I said, you know what, fool? Like,
That's
he's
Colorado.
like, Mom,
Yeah.
it's gonna be 50. I checked on my weather app and I said, tomorrow it's not. And so you ain't getting outside in them shorts tomorrow. You better enjoy those shorts today. Colorado middle schoolers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like
That's
that's middle
Colorado
school in
attire,
general.
though. Shorts and a hoodie.
I'm at that age where like it's so cold that I can't think. Like I just feel cold and like confused. Like I'm not gonna be a good elderly person in Colorado. I'm halfway. I'm like, when I hit my 50s, the cold got bad. Somebody said, but mom, coats are lame.
Yeah, I just said, I'm like, I know, cool kids wear shorts. I get it.
Yeah.
Also, since I had one, I was at a concert the other night with my son, and I mean, it was freezing, and I was just watching the young girls in the skirts, and I was like, girl, I remember trying to be cute and cold.
Yep. 18-year-old walking to the club in just a dress. And you're like, what?
Hey, it's worse. I used to do it in a fishnet shirt with eyeliner on, frozen to my face, so it's cool.
That's what.
Yeah, Dr. Archuleta. Good morning, Catherine.
Good morning.
Good morning,
So,
Council.
Dr. Rob, do you still have the fishnet is what we're under?
Yeah. I couldn't even get my hand through it at this point.
He's like, it's under all the jackets now.
It was even pre-Hot Topic. Pre-Hot Topic. Well, you guys are in Denver, right? So does everybody know Fashion Nation? That's where you got cool stuff, was Fashion Nation.
I don't know Fashion Nation. I just moved here in 2020 though. So is it still around?
That's
Yeah,
from the
they have
90s.
every Doc Martin you could think of. They have like a little punk rock goth store for kids
On
called,
University, right?
called Babysitter's Nightmare.
Yeah, to go there to get your doc. That's the only place you got your docs. Yep.
Yeah, docs. They have every doc you could think of there.
Good morning, Megan.
That would be
Good morning, y'all.
name too.
Sorry, Caitlin, I talked over you saying good morning.
Oh no, you're sorry. We were talking about Babysitter's Nightmare as a store, but I was like, that would actually be a good band name. Like,
Yeah.
I've never heard of it.
It used to be off of so it used to be by Wax Tracks on Washington and 13th, and then they moved it, and it was on it was where Raquel said University. Is that what you said, Raquel? And then
I think so, right?
Yeah, now they moved it again because they finally bought their own building after all the years. But every famous
South Broadway. You're right.
South Broadway.
Yep, there
It
you
used
go.
to be on
Yep,
South
yep.
Broadway.
I was wrong.
They just moved it. Yeah.
I've been at it now for about 13 years.
Yeah.
It's been a minute, 15 years now.
But it's still around.
See, you might be from Colorado if.
Yeah.
That's the beginning of our meeting today, or from the Denver area anyway. Welcome, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Carolyn.
Good morning.
It's good to see your face.
right. As we start to get the meeting rolling, I'm dropping some links into the chat for everybody. It's a copy of our agenda as well as our pre-meeting packet that we're going to go over in a little bit of detail in a little while today. So just stick with us there. Making sure we have everybody promoted. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And then I'm going to quickly review just the ASL interpretation and the closed captioning for those members of the public who might need that. So give me 1 second, everybody. All right. Can everybody see my screen okay? Perfect. I'll just try and zoom in a little bit too. If I can in here. There we go. All right. So before we get started and call the meeting to order and everything like that, I just wanted to quickly review the ASL interpretation options as well as the closed captioning options for any member of the public or the council that might need this assistance. So during the event, your participation view will follow the view of the BHA panelists, and ASL interpreters will be available to you during this event. Hover your mouse over the interpretation icon at the bottom of your screen and select American Sign Language if you wish to view this channel. You may adjust the ratio of the screen being shared by hovering the mouse to the left of the panelist until your mouse changes to a horizontal arrow. Click left and drag your mouse across the screen until you have reached your desired view. As well as for closed captioning, this has been enabled for this event, so click on the closed captioning button at the bottom of your Zoom window to turn on subtitles. If you need to change the subtitle language, click the caret to the right of the button and select your desired language. Please, if you need assistance, go ahead and chat us in the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen, and we have our wonderful Shane Oram helping us with this today as well. So with that, I will send it over to you, Raquel and Tasha.
Good morning, Council. Welcome on this crisp Colorado morning. We're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Tasha will take us to roll call.
Good morning, guys. How is everybody this morning? All right, we're gonna start with roll call. Give me 1 second. I gotta pull up the document. Caitlin, can you put that in chat for me, please?
Oh, if you click on this November meeting minutes
Thank you.
in the agenda, we'll have a copy of it there.
I don't know what's going on. I'm having issues with my stuff here. My bad.
No worries. Would you like me to do roll call this morning?
Yeah, can you please?
Absolutely.
I apologize for the
Not
delay.
a problem. Not a problem. Let's see here. All right. Do we have Karen Renee Anderson?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Danielle Ngotti. We have Danielle today. Okay. Dr. Rob. Thank you. Preston Berry.
Present.
Good morning, Preston.
Good morning, everybody.
Whitney Butcher.
Here.
Hi, Whitney. Good to see you. Ashley Castro.
Present.
Good morning, Ashley. Our lovely Raquel Garcia, Madam Chair. And Carolyn Hall.
Here.
Hey, Carolyn, good to see you. We
Nice
have
to see
Tasha Kankar in the house. I see
Present.
you. And Judge Elizabeth Lee.
Present and good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Judge. Maria Martinez. Good morning, Maria. So good to see you. Oh, I see Danielle has joined us. Good morning, Danielle. All right.
Good morning. Thank you. I'm driving home and I'll be on my desktop in a few moments. I apologize. Also, I have 3 invites to this meeting every time. So I've been late because they all kind of go somewhere else.
Yeah. Danielle, if you want to stay on or if you want to jump on a Zoom call with me after this meeting, I can kind of walk you through this and clean it up. You might have 2 because there's a BHA calendar and then our calendar. So members of the public can join, but the third one might be an old one, so we could probably delete that one.
We'll do that. Thank you so much.
We'll work together after this meeting, absolutely. All right, Keith Parker. Have Keith on today, okay? Antonio Pito. All right, Noor Shafi. Jamie Altridge.
Good morning. I'm here.
Hey, Jamie. Good to see you. All right. Cameron Vigil.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Cameron. Happy to have you. Catherine Washington.
Good morning, present.
Good morning, Catherine. All right. Seth Watkins.
Here. Good morning, present.
Hi, Seth. Happy to have you. and Vice Chairman Selwyn Whitescomb. All right. And with that, I'll pass it back over to you, Raquel.
Thank you so much. We didn't review agenda. Do we need to do the overview if I'm just moving into meeting minutes?
Yeah, if you want to go ahead and review the agenda for today.
Let's go ahead and review the agenda for today. We will start off with approving the meeting minutes. We'll move into a council administrative review. I'll talk a little bit about what our function is as a council. We'll go over the 2025 meeting cadence, followed by some bylaw and the draft 2 of the bylaws. We'll take a vote. We'll have a subcommittee review. A public questionnaire is live. This is pretty amazing that we get to announce that the public questionnaire is live. We'll have a break at around 9:40. 9:45 we'll come back, community engagement presentation, and 9:25 will be public comment. So to the person asking that, public comment will be allowed at 10:25. All right. Moving forward, looking for a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for November.
Thank you, Carolyn.
Second, Judge Lee.
Thank you, Judge Lee. So moved. The November meeting minutes are approved as is. And noted. Council administrative review. I'm going to talk a little bit about, there's always some questions about who we are, what we do, what's our purpose here. And we've got some new council members, so I'm so excited to have you with us. And as we have organically grown as a council, just making sure that we're all on the same page as to what our purpose is. So I just want to read a little something to all of you. The purpose of the Behavioral Health Advisory Council is to serve as a collective voice and guidance for advancing behavioral health across the state of Colorado. Our role is to bring our personal experiences to the table, not to promote individual agendas, but to think broadly about how these experiences can inform and impact the entire state. We are here to share our unique perspectives and use them as a lens to understand and address the broader systemic needs of Colorado. This requires us to step beyond personal interests and focus on collaborative, equitable solutions that benefit all Coloradans. Our work is rooted in the belief that collective insight leads to stronger, more inclusive outcomes for our communities. And I do believe that our council has grown into that. And I just wanted to make sure that we all start off on the same page for what our purposes are here, right? I love that I get to live in the small town of Larkspur and Palmer Lake, Colorado, and I get to bring those things that are dealing with my community to the table, but to think about that in a very large perspective and not just the smaller lens of my own community. So I just wanted to share that with you before we move forward into 2025 as we start off our year. Any thoughts or reflections before we move forward? Thank you, everyone. All right, Caitlin.
Thank you so much, Raquel. All right, so I have dropped it in the chat again for all members who are just who might have joined us a little bit later. But there is a pre-meeting packet in the chat, and I'm also sharing it on my screen here that we're going to be reviewing today. So since we're no longer going to be using the slide decks to kind of like navigate our agenda as we go throughout the day, we want to have this available to all members of the council as well as the public, just to kind of review some of the ASL options, the closed captioning options, as well as our code of conduct as we continue these meetings moving forward. So wanted to kind of briefly review this with you all today, see if you have any comments, questions, or concerns. And we will be dropping this in the chat for each meeting moving forward. So this will be available to you every single meeting. So that way, since we're moving to the 90-minute format instead of the 3-hour format, this just kind of saves us a little bit of time as we go through. For each meeting, we will review the ASL interpretations and the closed captioning just to make sure that any member of the public, as well as any member of the council who might need these features, they have them available and know how to use them. So exactly how I read through them this morning, we'll plan to do that every single morning. And then the rest of the information will be available to you all to review at your leisure. Here we kind of go through some of our group agreements, making sure that the Q&A is available for all participants. If we're unable to answer your question live during that public comment section, or as you're dropping the Q&As, there is a public feedback form that I will be talking about in just a little bit. There's also a Spanish version available on our website that you can submit your questions, comments, or concerns there. So we'll have that available to all members, and it is hyperlinked here. So if you click on this blue link, it will send you immediately to the English version, and then I'll show you how to access the Spanish version via our website. Here's some just like basic council member code of conduct. We ask every member of the council, as well as members of the public, to just be respectful of each other. We have differing viewpoints, and that's what makes this council so wonderful. But just being respectful of each other's viewpoints, making sure that we're not acting in any sort of discriminatory behavior, harassment, or victimization will not be allowed. We also ask members, specifically of the council, to participate in attendance. As members of this council, we need you all to show up and participate. We need to be able to reach a quorum at every single meeting so we can hold these formal votes and things like that. Specifically, again, for council members, we ask you to be prepared, reviewing the agenda, and if there's any, pre-meeting work ahead of time, just to be able to be prepared, to be able to ask questions, since we are in a little bit of a shorter time frame now. We just really want to make sure that everybody is prepared and active and ready to go as possible. And then engagement, this goes for members of the council as well as members of the public. This is your council, and this is how we're going to get your all's amazing feedback and have these amazing conversations. So we just ask you to engage and participate in these conversations as possible. Same again with both members of the council and members of the public, just a level of professionalism. You all are members of both your community, professionals, lived experience, and so we just all want to maintain that level of professionalism and courtesy for everybody involved, both members of the public and members of the council. And then, as always, we're going to abide by every applicable law that impacts us. So that includes, things like quora, open meetings law, and things like that. And then here I just wanted to show some additional links that we might have for members of the public as well, members of the council. If you need any additional resources, these are some great resources that you can reach out to. These are all hyperlinked here, so everything in blue you can click on, it will take you directly to that website. So we have our boards and commissions website that has all of our landing pages for all of our boards and commissions, not just this council. It also has some additional resources such as an in-depth guide of our code of conduct, the code of ethics, and things like that. We have our website here that I'm sure most of you have accessed, but just another link in case. We have a couple of different assistant options for members of the public as well as members of the council here. We also have our performance hub, and that is like our major data collection hub where you can kind of see what we're working on through the state, the data that we're collecting right now, and our goals for future improvement of the performance hub as we continue. And then if by any reason you need to submit a grievance or a complaint, here is a link to that, and we'll walk through the steps on how to do that moving forward. So I know that was kind of a brief high-level overview. Any questions, comments, or concerns about the pre-meeting packet? Right, not seeing any, so for the sake of time, we'll just keep cooking through this today. All right, everybody, it is time. Bylaws, woohoo! We have been working through this since July. So I am very hopeful based on the feedback that you all have provided us, and both during our office hours that I was holding for members to come and participate, as well as our feedback form that you all had access to. We have updated the second draft of bylaws with all of your comments and your feedback. So wanted to just kind of take a second here to see if everybody is comfortable with holding a vote today, so we can formally get our new set of bylaws enacted and just get ready for 2025. So any feedback about this?
I would like to see the margins to be justified on the document.
Okay. Besides the margins, what about like the contact itself?
I see some of the suggestions I had provided adopted, others not. Let's see.
Leslie, can you, I was kind of going through yours and I thought that I had updated them all. If there's any that I haven't updated, if you can shoot me a message for those. I know some of it was just language and just punctuation as well, so.
Right. All the little picky things.
Which is completely fine. I appreciate that as a former comms person. I love it. So thank you for that. Just want to make sure, you know, kind of the body and the context and the purpose of this itself is agreeable. We can always, you know, adjust some of the punctuations and stuff, but really making sure that the content itself is agreeable to vote on today. Seth, is your hand raised?
Yeah, so I reviewed all the materials that was sent to me, but I didn't see this link or this information. So I will be abstaining from the vote because I am not sure what is written. And I'm sure it's been great that everybody's comments were included and stuff, but I just don't feel comfortable voting for something that I haven't read over first. So
Understand. Yes, those have been emailed to you several times. They've also been hyperlinked in every single agenda moving forward since July. So
yeah, I just haven't seen them like in the email myself. Probably because I'm not seeing it like directly with a hyperlink or anything, and so it's just my bad reading.
Yeah, let's meet after this because again there's been multiple emails sent, so let's make sure that you're getting the emails that I am sending to you. I want to make sure that you're maintaining good communication with us. So let's just double check that when we get off here today, and you and I can work together, make sure that you are getting all my correspondences.
I noticed too that you've switched the vision and mission paragraphs at the beginning. Is that the way we want it to read?
So technically vision does necessarily become before mission when creating these type of documents. I had them flip-flopped. Okay. But if we want to flip-flop them back, happy to do that too.
I felt it read really nice. I was really impressed with all the work that people have put into it. I know I haven't put anything in, but except for reading and learning. And so I think the second draft I was really impressed with.
Well, I want to say too, on council's behalf, like this, we've been doing this for 2 years. I feel like I know like this is just round number 3 up, but like as a council too, let's all give a round of applause to Tasha, who has stayed in it. I mean, you've stayed in it since the very first time we've ever set bylaws, even as a council, Tasha, and you've stuck through it and stayed committed. And you understand them probably better than anybody at council. And I just want to say thank you for all the work you have done and making sure that these bylaws come to fruition. So thank you so very much.
Thank you, Raquel, and thank you, council, for all your support and your input through the creation of these bylaws. So I couldn't have done it without you guys to stay in it. So it's a team effort. So thank you guys.
Any other feedback?
Right. So with that, how do you all feel about holding a potential vote today?
I can. I'd be happy to hold a vote. Looking for a motion.
I'll move to approve the bylaws.
Thank you, Commissioner. Second?
I second that. Tasha Conker.
Second? So moved. Our bylaws are voted in, council. Oh, wait.
So
Oh, actually, you know what? I forgot. All those in favor, actually. I got a call vote. Hold on. Judge was about to get me. She was about to go, wait a minute, Raquel. Back up. I was ready to celebrate. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Seth is abstaining. Any opposition? All right, now so moved. Those bylaws are officially voted in. Thank you so much, council.
All right, so as you will see at the bottom of the bylaws down here, we will get this signed by our chair and vice chair, and it will be marked for today. So that is January 16th, 2025. All right. How exciting. That was wonderful. Yay. Okay. So our last two things on the agenda here are a subcommittee review and our public questionnaire. So for our subcommittee review here, I wanted just to kind of throw some things out to you all. As you know, I'm the Boards and Commissions coordinator for BHA, so I oversee a couple other councils besides this one, and kind of wanted just to bring up some of the subcommittee creations that some of the other councils are working on to see if this would be something that would be beneficial for this council as well. So as you know, we have our executive subcommittee, and that is kind of like our administrative operative backbone of the council. They help with the creation of the agenda, the overseeing of meeting minutes, making sure that, you know, we're kind of following the annual calendar and things like that. We also have our, which we established last year, that is kind of like not a full year council, but we can make it a full year council if we decide we need to, is our annual report subcommittee. So those were the members of this council who came together to help us create the annual report that is statutorily required by this council and due to the BHA on September 1st. So those are kind of our two subcommittees at this time. What some of the other councils are doing is they've also created what's called a system advocacy subcommittee. And this subcommittee is going to be comprised of members that kind of take a deeper dive into the state of Colorado's current behavioral health system to start identifying some gaps and trends within the system that we can do external research on and maybe bring to the council as a whole to kind of refocus some of our energy and narratives and things like that. So it is going to be, you know, pretty research heavy council, and what those council members will do, we'll meet, you know, maybe once a month. We'll kind of do our own external research about some different topics that relate within this council, and then bring them back and say, hey, you know, I found some things about, let's say, the grievance system, for example, because that's one of our statutorily required mandates to review here. I found some additional things about the grievance system that I would like some clarification on, that we should really have a presentation on. I would like to write a letter of support, you know, a general letter of support for prevention tactics and things like that. So that's kind of what this external subcommittee might do. And then based on that feedback and what that subcommittee is working on, we can bring that to the council as a whole to do, you know, an even more in-depth dive or things like that. So again, it's kind of going to be a little bit of a research heavy council. It will require a little bit of extra time and participation. Obviously, I know you all are extremely busy and don't want to overwhelm you. So if that's something that we'd kind of, you know, like to hold off on at this time, but maybe think about in the future, happy to do that. But, you know, as we're kind of getting that one subcommittee up and running for another council, I thought that, you know, based on some of the feedback that I've heard from you all throughout the last couple of months, and, you know, really wanting to do a deeper dive, but unfortunately, you know, we're limited to 12 council meetings a year at this point. I would love to meet with you all every single week, but you know, it's just not feasible, unfortunately, for everybody. But you know, that's kind of another way that we could do some of the desired work of this council outside of these regularly scheduled council meetings. So just kind of want to put that out there and see what your all thoughts are about that.
Tasha says, I'm more than interested and I have the time. Seth? Seth and then Jamie.
I just want to make sure that this next committee is in tune with the bylaws that we just adopted, like that it meets the requirements of what the bylaws said and what we just voted on and stuff like that. And
It
that
absolutely will.
okay.
Good question. Thank you so much, Seth. Jamie?
I think it's a great idea. I do not have the time, unfortunately, but I'm glad Tasha does, and hopefully some others do. I do think if we have the opportunity to contribute topics to the subcommittee, I would be more than happy to give the subcommittee work to do. I think it's a great idea. I don't have the time, but I hope that others do, and would really look forward to seeing the work that comes out of it.
I feel the same as Commissioner. Like, I think it's a great idea. I wish I had the time because this is but I think where we can contribute is that we work within those systems. So I do think we can give some of that lived experience, you know, of what it's like to be in those systems, especially from different parts across the state, because how that shows up is different in Denver than it's going to show up like in Pueblo, or it'll show up in, you know, the San Luis Valley. So I think that's where those of us that I do love that you brought that up. I think we can also contribute to this as a council as a whole, is, you know, if to the committee, so you don't feel like you're working all of this on your own, is that we can bring that lived experience to the table. I love that suggestion. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just as a topic on creating this deep dive research driven committee or whatever, one thing that I would like to see more investigation in, since basically Congress and so forth passed rules and extended permissions on virtual therapeutic and psychiatric care, that we take a look of what virtual and psychiatric care is covered in Colorado and by what insurance programs, and making sure that Medicaid is covering virtual visits with private therapists if that's possible. So that's a huge gap that I'm like, because not everybody can find a therapist or get a therapist. And I want to see more promotion of the Our Path website that we developed not too long ago, that basically is a easy way to find resources or therapists or providers based on geography and zip codes and stuff like that. So I would like to see the virtual link to Our Path somehow, so that it can be shared more available towards everybody who might need to get services from home, or if they're not able to get out of the home, that they can get those services, plus ADL certified ASL certified policies around those online virtual like sessions that people might need, having those provided for.
Absolutely. Seth, I really hope that you join the subcommittee, because it sounds like you have already identified some gaps and trends that would be really useful to do a deeper dive into. So, you know, what I'll just go ahead and do is put out an application for all members of the council to go ahead and complete if this is something that you are interested in participating in. And then based off of your feedback, you know, if we can get at least, I would say like 4 council members to participate in this, we can start kind of moving the subcommittee forward. In the meantime, what I can do is share with you from the work of the other subcommittees to see, you know, basically what kind of trends and gaps they're identifying and what research they have done. So we could either build off of that in the future, or just kind of do a little bit more in-depth dive and participation with these other councils if we just don't get enough participants here. Tasha?
A part of our subcommittees, are they get it, or our work groups, or how are we wording that? Is there going to be members of the public allowed to be a part of this? So that's the one thing I wanted to clarify on that.
Absolutely. So what we're doing with our subcommittee structuring right now is we're going to have quote unquote identified members, and those are going to be members of the council that have filled out that application and said, I want to participate in this subcommittee. Those are going to be the members that are going to be able to like vote on topics and things like that. Now, all subcommittees are meetings are going to be open to any member of the council who would like to participate, as well as the public. I'm going through right now and updating our BHA public facing calendar. So all of the other subcommittees for my other councils, they're available live right now on the BHA calendar. So any member of the public can drop in and listen and participate at any given time. Same with any member of the council. However, if we hold, let's say, a vote or a motion within that, only those identified members, so the ones who have completed this application and said, yes, I want to participate in this meeting or in this subcommittee, those will be the ones that will actually be able to vote on a matter and things like that. But any member of the public and council is available to participate at any given time. We love that and we want that, absolutely.
Thank you, Caitlin.
Absolutely. Any other thoughts about this before I move on to the public questionnaire? All right, not seeing much. So what I'll do is just send out that application, and if we can get enough participants to sign up, that's great. And we'll get the subcommittee started to roll out and up and running. But again, if we don't, I'll go ahead and start sharing the work of the other subcommittees that have created this subcommittee structure to see if there's any work that they're doing that we could just do a little bit research on, or if there's any work that we can parallel between our councils and really get that cross communication established. All right, and so lastly, I want to go to our lovely BHAAC website. Can everybody still see my screen okay? Perfect. Okay, so under our behavioral health website, our BHAAC website, excuse me, when you scroll down here to see submit a question or comment, then we have two different forms here. The first one we are tracking as a council. So this is our public feedback form here. So we have one available in English and Spanish. And then our second one is for the BHA larger. So that's going to go to a different personnel to review. So if you have any comments, questions, or concerns about the BHA as a whole, use these second forms down here. But anything specific to our council that members of the public would like us to address, or you as members of the council, this would be a great resource to provide your communities with, to say, you know, I actually might not know that question, the answer to that question, but please fill out this form and we'll review it in detail. What we're going to be doing with our executive subcommittee is reviewing these feedbacks every month to see if there's any questions that we might be able to answer live during meetings, or at least to be able to provide the commenter with the correct resources or the correct contact information for them to be able to get their their questions answered. Excuse me. This will also allow us to basically start tracking trends and questions or comments and things like that. So if we see, you know, 6 questions about the performance hub, we can say, hey, we really need to get some clarification about this performance hub. Let's bring in our team to do that and get some of these questions answered. So it's going to allow us to do a lot of different things, and then it's just another resource for you all to utilize as well as your communities to utilize. So again, if you just click on it here, it'll take you back to this questionnaire. We have this available in both English and Spanish. And then if you need it in another format, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, and I will absolutely do my best to get you and to get this into a format that is available for you. So any questions about that? Seth?
Yeah, I mean, just as we're talking about it right now, and I'm just thinking of like access and whatnot, like I always do. Um, it would be nice to have these meetings translated into Spanish as well as other languages. So, especially like for Aurora residents who are very diversified and whatnot. And I think that like I mean I don't speak Spanish fluently or anything, so I can't really share in Spanish when I'm talking like in the behavioral health council or anything. But like I'm hoping this is like translated into other languages, the video and
Absolutely.
everything.
Yes. So all of our recordings are loaded up to YouTube. So any participant who would like to go and review a recording, you can select your language there. We also have the closed captioning option that will let you translate the languages live during the meeting. Raquel, Tasha, and I met for an officer meeting, and that is something that we had talked about. Reviewing the cost because we are in a budget deficit year this year. What we were thinking about doing is on the Zoom registration link for public participants, having a question incorporated there if they need an interpreter. So we could bring an interpreter live to the meetings that they participate in. We just, again, being mindful of being in a budget deficit year and being responsible with taxpayers' money, just making sure that we have the interpreters here when they're needed. But we absolutely are, wanting to be as accessible and open to these meetings as possible. And so we do have those closed captioning options and then the recording options, but then also going to be adding that question about live translation as needed. So thank you for bringing that up. Jamie.
So this is kind of off topic, so I apologize, but you went to the website and it prompted me to think of my question. For our annual report that we submitted last year to the BHA, did we get an official response back? And is it somewhere on the website that I can find?
So we have not received an official response back yet. They, by statute, have to incorporate this into BHA's annual plan. So let me talk with my team about getting a copy of that annual plan. But no, not to my awareness have they provide us an official response, like a written response. I know our leadership is aware of this, and so that's what we're trying to do with leadership, excuse me, and building out the annual calendar, making sure that some of the comments and questions and concerns that were brought up during this, during our annual report are being addressed live during our council meetings. So if you look back at that annual calendar, and some of the subjects and comments that we're going to have some of these presenters review, it's going to tie in directly to some of the questions and things like that through the annual report. So let me work on getting that formal written response. I don't know. I see Kelly and Megan on here. Do you all have any update on that by chance?
Thanks, Caitlin. I will follow up and make sure you and I can connect. Maybe we can get an answer by this afternoon that you can email out to the members.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank
you for that question, Jamie.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So I know we're just a minute or two over time. Want to provide you all with a quick little break. If that's agreeable with everybody, or if you want to just keep rolling, let me know either way. Seeing thumbs up. Is that thumbs up for a break or just to keep moving?
I got to step away for just a minute.
All right, let's take 4 or 5 minutes.
Okay,
Caitlin.
sounds good. We'll plan to come back here at like 9:48 then.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, see everybody in just a moment. Thank you.
Hello, Tasha.
Hello, Carolyn. How are you?
Good. It's good to see you.
Great to see you too.
Nice work on the bylaws. That's amazing. They were amazing.
Thank you. The whole council did an awesome job. I am really proud of all the input and everything that the council did. So, yeah, couldn't have done it.
Yeah.
I think I would have thrown my hands up a long time ago, Tasha. You're so brave to be there for so long.
From the beginning, right, Carolyn?
From the very beginning.
It's an interest. So, yeah, I'm glad we did it.
Your gift for that is our reward. So thank you so much, Tasha. That is really a gift that you have.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks for sharing it with us.
All
Welcome
right.
back, everyone. Welcome back. We're going to have a presentation from Megan and Judith, our community engagement humans, which is just amazing. I love this. I love this. This is one of my favorite things that BHA has done, is add this community engagement piece to the work. I think it was a missing piece that we desperately needed between community and us. There was something else that needed to be there. So I'm really excited to hear what's going on. Megan?
Raquel, I am even more excited than you that we have this amazing team who is focused on underserved communities, because as we know, trying to do it all myself for a year didn't work out so well. And so it is great. They are amazing. And I'm excited to share an update with you all. For any of you on here who do not know me, I am Megan Shelton, Director of Strategy Planning and Engagement for BHA. I go by she, her, and I oversee the regional engagement team, which includes the manager of regional engagement, Judith Tiaku, who was not able to join us today, but her amazing team is here. And so you will all get an opportunity to hear from each of them and meet each of them momentarily. I will let them introduce themselves when we get to the slides on each of their regions. Now I'm ready for the next slide, Caitlin. Thank you. We like to start every presentation with acknowledging the land that we are on, the land that we do all of the work that, here. And we recognize that our facilities are situated on the traditional territories and ancestral homelands of the Ute, Arapaho, Cheyenne, Dene, Lakota, Apache, Puebloan, and other Native nations. As part of our commitment to enhancing behavioral health services, BHA is dedicated to understanding and integrating the knowledge, traditions, and practices of Indigenous peoples to better serve all communities in Colorado. So this acknowledgement is our first step in doing that. Okay, so this next slide talks about the community conversations that took place throughout Colorado during 2024. Commissioner Smith was busy and out in the community, hearing from all of you and the communities that we're in. You can see on this map the red dots of everywhere that Commissioner Smith was for community conversations. These were really interactive for those of you that were able to join us. They were more than just listening sessions. They were conversation and they were amazing. So with that, we can move on to the next slide.
Megan, I see Seth's hand raised.
Oh, I see that. Okay. Yes, Seth?
Okay, sorry, hold on, let me put my video on. I actually like the land acknowledgement agreement. Where I work, we also have a labor agreement of how this state and this country was basically built and brought by slave labor and so forth. And I can get a copy of that acknowledgement in the labor agreement or the labor acknowledgement, and I can forward it to whoever. But I think having a labor acknowledgement of, the racism that's been a part of this building this country and stuff needs to be acknowledged, and that we need to be supportive of those that built this country, basically.
Thank you, Seth. Okay, there we are. Thank you, Caitlin. Caitlin is reading my mind today. So when we were out in the community, we collected all of the feedback that we heard from you all, and these 10 themes were present in every single conversation. There were additional things, but these came up in every community that we visited, whether it was a rural community or an urban community. The sizes of the circles do not reflect them being heard more prominently. It was just to make it look pretty, which is why some of them overlap. System navigation, transportation, prevention services for all ages, coordination of inpatient and outpatient services for children, youth, and adults, SUD and behavioral health services in rural communities, school support, access to community behavioral health resources, coordination between BHA and all sister agencies, jail-based services, and housing. And we can move on to the next slide. So coming up for engagement, we have a busy year ahead of us. Commissioner Community Conversations for 2025 will start in May this year. We'll start them a little bit earlier. We will be returning to every community that we visited in 2024 and then some. Those will continue to follow the same process of really conversations. That's what they are. They're not BHA coming with big fancy slides. That was all by your input and your request. We come, we share some updates, and then we sit down and we have conversation with you all. During the 2025 community conversations, we will be reporting back to the communities that we visited previously, sharing what we heard specifically from that community, what we have done so far to address those things, and our plan moving forward. BASO community engagement, that will be BHA leadership with Signal and with Rocky going out into the community to really listen and hear from the community as we work toward getting the BASOs set up. The Child and Youth Behavioral Health Implementation Plan listening sessions. Our first one was in early December. We have another one this evening or this afternoon from 4 to 5:30. That is on the BHA calendar. And so if you would like to attend and you are not yet registered for that event, please click on the Zoom link to register and join us for that. We'll have another one at the end of January, and those will be continuing. Seth, I see your hand is up again, so I will pause for just a moment.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that as we're going into meeting with these communities and doing regional work and like the BASO starting and, basically all the work we're doing and visiting all these different places, that there is Spanish interpretation, ASL interpretation, and that there is sign language interpretation. Like just there needs to be access to explain to people in other languages, what is a BASO? What is the commissioner doing? What are you guys saying to me? How do I access services? Why didn't I hear about this before? Those things need to be done.
Absolutely, Seth. We have Spanish interpretation at all of our in-person events. We have ASL interpretation and Spanish interpretation available at all of our virtual events. And so that is something BHA has been doing for a while and is very committed to. You speak some very strong points there. So thank you. Safety net rules engagement. The team supported many sessions on safety net engagement during 2024. And if there is continued engagement needed as we go into 2025, we will continue to support that work. Engagement on the family and friends input form implementation. And I cannot see the slide for some reason. I can't tell what the last box is. I don't remember my slide. Community engagement something.
Dashboard.
Dashboard. Thank you. I'm like, what was it that was on there? I don't know why it's covered up on my screen. But the community engagement dashboard will be coming out soon. We're currently piloting it a little bit, making sure that we're working out any issues that it may have. I am really, really excited about this dashboard. It's something we've been working on for a while. That will be a publicly available site that you can click on, and you can see everywhere that BHA has been, who we've met with, what we've talked about. Lots and lots of data will be is included on that dashboard. And so hopefully by our next meeting, we'll be able to share that out and show you where that lives on the BHA website. And Seth, I see your hand again. Thank you for your great question.
Yes, I want to make sure that all of these meetings or information or like explanations like are being linked on Facebook and social media. I mean, I know TikTok is going away probably or whatever, but like Instagram, like Facebook, like social media of any kind, so that people from those platforms can actually, if they want to attend a meeting or have a conversation, they know where to go. Because I've seen Our Path announcements on Facebook regarding Our Path referrals and stuff, and the BHA announcements and stuff on Facebook. I just want to make sure that these are also being kind of posted on social media as well.
Yes, Seth, we have an amazing communications team. So if you follow us on Facebook, on LinkedIn, you will see all of that information there as well. So yes, is the big answer to your question. We really do work to make sure that we are getting all of the communication pushed out in all of those different avenues. BHA does not have a TikTok account, so we are not on that anyway. So that big change will not impact us.
This is Renee. I have
Yes.
a question. I'm sorry, I can't find my raise hand on my phone. Sorry.
That's okay.
With you were talking about the community engagement website, I think is what you were saying. Is this being tested for access for those that are visually impaired and blind? Actually tested? Because I know yesterday I received something, not from you guys, but from another organization, that they ran it through an accessible company that is not a very good company. And anyway, it was not accessible at all.
I would love to connect with you on that. Once we have that up, I would love to spend some time and have you take a look at it. I think that would be fantastic if you have time.
Sure, no problem.
Okay. But I know that I will say, our website team, we work under, with support from CDHS's website team. And so they really do have a commitment to making sure that it is accessible. But I would love to have your eyes on it as well and get some additional feedback from you.
Super.
And
Great.
I appreciate you bringing that up as well. And
Sure.
then Cameron, I see your hand up also. And I do want to be mindful that the team has some great updates. Caitlin, I can't remember. I don't remember how much time we have. But Cameron, go ahead.
We have 30 minutes left or 29 minutes left in the meeting, and we'd love to get to some Q&A as well. So if we can just hold council member questions until the end of the presentation, and then we'll address that and then have time for public comment as well.
Perfect. Thank you, Caitlin. Okay, and I am on to the next slide. So I am very excited to introduce you all to Dr. Kalandra Lindstadt, who is our Northeast Regional Engagement Specialist. So I will hand it over to you.
Thanks, Megan. Thanks for teeing us up. Kalandra Lindstadt, pronouns she, her, or they, them. I am your engagement specialist for the Northeastern region. I've had the great fortune of meeting many of you in person now that we've been in our roles for about 6 months. But just for those of you who are new, I am located in Loveland. I know that doesn't really count as Northeastern Colorado, so I'll also say that I am from a 6th-generation farming and ranching family out in Haxton. And I went to high school in Sterling, so I feel a really strong connection to this region. And being located here, anyone in my region, I'd love to connect in person for coffee. If you're ever into it, let's do it. a little high level overview of my work in 2024. Those green hearts are where I have actually physically been. There may be one or two on there that's missing at this point because I created this visual for our first meeting. And then the purple heart or purple stars, 2025, one of my goals is to make sure that I visit each of my counties in person. And so those are some locations I've already identified that I'm aiming for, but I'm super open to additional locations and events as they come up. Please, if there's anything in your community, I would love to stop in. So just send me an email and let me know. And then what I've been doing is really focusing on creating inroads and connecting with some of our priority populations. The ones that are listed here on the slide are a few of the populations that I've been able to build connections with already. But in 2025, I'm looking for more introductions, more connections, and intros into populations that I haven't already connected with. So please, if you have an organization or advocacy that you think I should get connected with, please send that on. And then 2025, looking forward to this year, which I really am. We're working on our frameworks of engagement. Our drafts are getting turned in this Friday for review from BHA leadership. But after I'll speak for myself. After I incorporate that leadership feedback, I would love to share my draft back with anyone from BHAAC who's interested. I'd really like your feedback. One of my priorities in 2025 is to engage communities with lived experience. As we launch the BOSSOs, it is a top priority for BHA to hear consistently from our folks who use the system so we can identify any gaps, any issues, ASAP. There are formal processes for doing this, but also me in my personal work, top priority. So BHAAC is going to be, I'm going to be reaching out to you guys. Also, shout out to Tasha. Can I just say that, like, speaking to you, I'm like, I am killing this. I just feel, you make me feel really good. I feel like I'm really doing a great job. So I recommend everybody who's about to present, pin Tasha at the top, and you're going to feel like you're killing it. All right, that's it for me. I will pass it off to the next engagement specialist, but please reach out. I'm going to drop my info in the chat. Would love to hear from you all.
Thanks, Calandra. That's me. Who's next? Whitney, do you mind holding your question until the end? I think that's kind of what we decided on. I saw your hand go up. Okay, perfect. We'll come back to you for sure. I'm Brittany. I am the regional specialist for Region B, and I had to cut out my beautiful picture of my region. So Calandra, as you saw, but just a quick description. Mine is the Denver metro area. So I have Denver, Arapahoe counties, Jefferson County, and Douglas County. And then out west, I actually have what we call the mountain resort counties. So Eagle, Summit, Clear Creek, Lake. And then out east, I actually have Albert and Lincoln. So it's a fun little mix. And after we got hired, I started on kind of the edges of the eastern and western edges. So got really connected with folks in Grand counties, Lake, Eagle, Clear Creek, Summit counties, and Albert and Lincoln. At this point, I'm connected with almost every county public health department and Department of Human Services in my region. And I really started digging into some of these metro area partnerships. Just as an example, one of the groups that I'm working with really closely is the Summit County Community Mental Health Navigation Group. That's a lot of mental health providers in those mountain resort communities. A lot of them, it's called Summit County, but they work within different counties as well. So there's neighboring counties like Clear Creek and Gilpin, providers kind of all over that area. Like Calandra, looking forward to just expanding my network in 2025 and getting connected to more folks, especially in the metro region. Denver metro is really intimidating as far as the mental and behavioral health space. And so if you have connections to folks, and especially like smaller nonprofit organizations who are doing mental or behavioral health work in the community, would love to get connected, especially when I think about priority populations in this region in particular. So I think about, for example, the unhoused community is a very important priority population for me to focus on here in the Denver area. I'm also going to be partnering with Calandra a lot because we both have Aurora, which is obviously a big metro area. I have Arapahoe, she has Adams, and so we'll be working really closely together. And then we're also, as a team, working with Health Management Associates, or HMA, to complete a community needs assessment in all of our regions. And so stay tuned for that, because we'll probably be connecting with you as we kind of get dates set for that for the next few months, where we'll be going out into community and really hearing from folks what are the needs, so that we can kind of incorporate that in our frameworks as well. And I think Calandra did speak for our whole team. We would love to have, when they said that, we would love to have your feedback on our frameworks as well. So looking forward to that. And I'll pass it over. I think Marius is next.
Hi, everyone. I'm Marius Nielsen, and I'm the Southeast Community Engagement Specialist. I want to give a quick update on what I've been doing in 2024. So my region is 22 counties. I take in the Lower Mountain region, Colorado Springs and Pueblo, the whole San Luis Valley, and then out to the Kansas and New Mexico border, taking in the whole southeast of Colorado. So I first split up my region into 6 subregions so that I can actually do data analysis and look at needs for each community that are specific to the area. And through 2024, I've connected with organizations, individuals, providers, and coalitions in 18 of my 22 counties. I started my work in the most frontier and remote areas, and then moved into the urban centers. I see so often that work starts in the urban areas and then trickles out to the more remote places in Colorado. And I really wanted it to be the opposite of that. And so I've started work in the more rural areas first. I'm partnering with existing groups to make sure that we're leveraging the expertise of folks who are already doing the work in these areas. And then I'm also working hard to connect with leaders in some of our priority populations. For an example, in the Southeast, one of our priority populations is the veteran community. We have a lot of presence of veterans in Colorado Springs and Pueblo, as well as our more rural areas. And I'm working with quite a few organizations to talk with that group. I'm prioritizing in-person engagement. I've been traveling multiple times a month to go out and meet in person with folks in my more rural areas. And I'd love to continue doing that in 2025. As we're moving forward into 2025, like you've heard from other folks, we're doing a lot of this analysis on data, working on this community needs assessment, and I'm continuing to build relationships with communities that I've started. So I'm always looking for additional connections. I'd love to work with you all on connections that you have in the Southeast. And then most especially, I'm looking at short and long-term outcomes. So my vision for community engagement is that now that we're building relationships in our regions and inviting folks into conversations at the state and community level, we can create the future that the BHA is looking for and co-create the behavioral health system, that we already have established connections to folks whose voices should be heard in these conversations. And so really working on that bi-directional flow of communication between community members and the BHA. And I'd love to continue doing that in partnership with this group. I'm excited to continue working together. Thanks, everybody. Rachel, I think you're up.
I am. Thank you, everybody. I'm Rachel Simpson. I live and work, she, her pronouns, and I live and work out here in Grand Junction. You can see on the map, I'm the 17 counties north to south, everything Western Slope. So not repeating everything that my brilliant colleagues have already mentioned, I will say, please do reach out. Especially if you're in the area and we can meet in person. I love doing that the most. And I'll tell you a little bit about what we've been doing and what we're doing going forward out here on the West Slope, Best Slope. I love that. For the first 6 months, I was really running around my region trying to get a feel for who's doing what and where. And I accomplished that by visiting each county in my region and really working with my colleagues to create a contact database to figure out, who is living where and studies what, or, is interested in what, and making sure that we're reaching out to those folks who are traditionally underrepresented. Going forward, we're going to be using all that data, all of the community needs assessments that we mentioned earlier to inform our work going forward, making sure that we're identifying gaps in representation, access, services, and applying some effort and attention to those areas. I'm going to make sure that my framework on the Western Slope is really aligned with the rest of the team and the state, the department plans. And I want to start more regularly visiting in person at these different places as I'm getting used to driving over these particular mountain passes. I was in Denver for 25 years, so these passes are a little bit different. Figuring out where I can drive at various points of the year. So come out, say hi, we'll have some peaches and go bike riding. All right, next slide, please.
All right, so any member of the council that has questions, you could go ahead and raise your hand, come off mute. Go ahead, Jamie.
Hello. Thank you. I think Dr. Calandra. I believe you're Northeast, so that would be my region. I guess for me, it's challenging for me to, and this, I'm only speaking personally, so this just might be a me thing, but it's challenging for me to stay current on everything that's happening with the BHA. And I know we have these meetings, and I'm in a ton of meetings as it relates to behavioral health, not just for HICPUF, but the Behavioral Health Association as well, or administration, excuse me. And so it's, I'm challenged at keeping up to date on everything that's going on because I know that there's a lot going on. Is that something that you can help me with? Just keeping it all, like, I don't know, just keeping it all pulled together, just to make sure that we're staying on top of everything as things are being implemented. And so that's my one question. And then my second question is, I really appreciate all of the outreach and all of the community meetings that you've all done outside. I mean, the regional reps that spoke here today, but also the BHA. I think it's going to be really important that we see results from that feedback or responses to what that feedback, what you received in that feedback and areas that you're identifying that you can actually implement some of the feedback that you received. So those are my two questions. Thank you.
Thank
No
you,
problem.
Jamie.
Can I jump in? May I jump in just real quick? Because Jamie's, I know how much you and I are in a lot of meetings around the children and youth work, and I know you're probably lots of other ones. Just a quick update for folks too, for the listening sessions, the one tonight, the one later this month for the children and youth work, we're collecting questions through the registration forms, and we had over 150 the first one, we have over 100 this next one that's today. And so we're taking all of those questions and we're responding to those, collecting themes. There are hundreds of them, but they're asked sometimes in various ways. So we're gonna take all the common themes and then answer the questions in a written way and put that on the landing page on the website. So that'll be probably not till the end of February because we have the one today and the one in a couple of weeks. And we're responding to those who participated. And so just for that, just to say, Jamie, there'll be information put back out from the feedback and input that we were asked from the folks in there. And then, yeah, Megan or others. I don't know if there's others. I know, Megan, you shared the responses or input today from those sessions. But Jamie, you're right. Having not just us listening, but then what did we do with that information and putting it back out is really important. And that's what the engagement folks are helping us do also.
Thank you, Kelly. And Jamie, I will just expand upon that. I think that that dashboard will really be helpful. It'll really have a visual image of what we're doing and where we're going and what we're hearing. Lots of data that will be on there, and that will also be a work in progress where we will want continued feedback from you all so that we can continue to make it better and better and more inclusive. The other thing that I wanted to mention is our team, or I don't want to speak for Judith, but I have to because she's not here. She's been working with her team on their frameworks for engagement. And one of the things that's come out is talking about a monthly report that they will be able to share with internal BHA. Absolutely, we can share that with BHAAC as well. And then looking at how we communicate externally as well. As that full feedback circle is really important to our team, and really making sure that we are not just going out and listening, but coming back with, here's what we heard, here's what we're doing with what we heard, and here's our future goals to continue to move towards that. So I hope that also answers your question. And I want to be mindful
Thank you so
of
much.
time.
Yeah.
So Danielle, I see your hand up, and then Seth's.
Good morning. Thank you. I just wanted to just make the comment that the two ladies who spoke before Rachel, I had heard them say they were looking for connections to smaller nonprofits. And so I just wanted to make the offer if they wanted to email me that Hani and Pam in Georgia are the executive directors for the ARCs in those area, and they do take a lot of crossover cases with youth who are dual diagnosed with IDD and severe mental health needs. And so if you wanted a direct connection to those executive directors, I would be more than welcome to do a kind introduction for you, if that's something you were interested in.
Thank you, Danielle. I know my entire team will be excited to reach out to you on that.
Okay. Yeah, I can connect you to I'm one of them, but I can connect you to the other 14 EDs that cover each area and kind of give you the breakdown on how things are working now for that.
Perfect, Danielle. I will send an email to you with Judith and the regional engagement specialist all on it so that you can communicate directly with them.
Okay, thank you.
Seth and then Raquel.
That was what I was just gonna like check in about, is basically with young people, the forum today or later today, you know, are the voices of IDD and disabled youth and those with autism spectrum and other, you know, differences. Are they being included in the conversations, or have people asked them what they need? Have people offered resources to them to explain things in ways that they would understand? I think like it's great to have young people. I think it's great to have first episode psychosis youth who are schizophrenic or schizoaffective and just starting out in their basic mental health condition experience and whatnot. And the Ascent team programs like all over Colorado and stuff. But like I really like Daniel said, I really want to make sure that those youth that might not ever be covered are covered.
Thank you, Seth. And that is the key purpose of the regional engagement team, is to engage with underserved communities. So everyone that you're talking about is included in that list in statute. And as you know, Ascent is near and dear to my heart. And so they are, as they share, they will likely be able to share their frameworks in an upcoming meeting. And then you'll be able to get some more, you'll be able to see how they're doing that moving forward. Raquel.
I'll keep it short. So what I'm kind of hearing collectively, because I'm a coach and I can't help it, is that council would like to help you a little bit more in some of your efforts. And so I think sometimes I love that you guys did the community engagements, which is like us having to go out and go meet you guys, which I was participated and I loved it, but also tapping into your council. So maybe a questionnaire or something of like, I hear one like, collectively, like who could give me, utilize us, right? Like who in your community, instead of me having to like give you the information, come tap into us as a resource, because that's what we are. I take care of, I'm in like 14 counties, right? And I sit on a real weird, strange spot between El Paso and Douglas County, right? And so if I feel like, tapping into us to see if those warm connections, if we can help with that in any way, is something that we feel like, I don't know, utilize us in that way. I hate to say use because people don't really love that word, but tap into us as a resource and draw the knowledge you have from your council.
Thank you, Raquel. And that's why we're coming to these meetings. But I want to give it some thought on how to make sure that they know who to connect with. And I'm wondering if it would be, let me give some thought on how to connect that.
Yeah, if you want some thought on that too, Megan, I don't mind tanking that with you.
Yeah, Raquel, let's find some time for you and I to connect with Judith, and then we can move on from that on how to make sure.
Right, because I'm thinking too of like Jamie, who just, at capacity, can't, and valuable information that we need from Jamie. So how do we do that and not overextend capacity?
100%. Thank you.
Everybody, I just want to be mindful of our time. We have about 6 minutes left and we need to have availability for our public comment. At the beginning of each council meeting moving forward, we're going to spend about the first 10 to 20 minutes of each council meeting reviewing our previous presentations, going over some additional questions, and making some additional comments. I'm going to keep a running log of that. And so we're going to be able to ask some additional questions that we'll be able to send over to our previous presenters. So if we don't get your questions answered right now, make sure to kind of either write them down or remember them for our next meeting. We'll do a little bit of recap and discussion at that next meeting. And then we'll have our community engagement team come back and participate as well. I also wanted to mark here for both the council members as well as members of the public, this link that I am dropping in the chat at the very bottom of it, you'll see our community engagement specialist contact information. So if you have any specific questions for each of them, their contact information is uploaded there for you all.
I don't see that.
Especially it's in the chat for the.
I see it's at the bottom.
Yes, bottom of the chat. Yes, and the contact information is at the bottom of the website. So just scroll to the very bottom and you'll see the boards and commissions contact information with my information, as well as our community engagement specialist contact information.
Megan's not there. So should we not be contacting Megan?
Oh, you can definitely contact me, Megan. I'm about that. I'll get that changed.
Absolutely contact me, Judge.
Put me up there.
Thank you, Judge
I'll drop her
Lee.
email in the chat for right now. And then I will work with our comms team to get that updated because she was definitely supposed to be on that. So.
And Judge Leith, just for full awareness, I am the BHA lead for this meeting. So absolutely, I should be on there.
Thanks. Yeah, I just wanted to say that I'd like to connect you with Bridges. They're doing a lot of the same sort of work and they need to identify all of the resources that are available around the state for our jail population.
Right. Well, with that, we need to go ahead and open it for public comment. So at this time, if any of the public would like to raise their hand, we will ask you to unmute yourself. All right. I see Jalissa. Whoops, there we go. Okay, let me see here. I'm going to allow you to talk, Jalissa. So you should be able to go ahead and unmute yourself at this time.
I just wanted to appreciate your initiatives. You're great. The Basos is such a great idea. And just advocate for my community, the Spanish-speaking immigrant community, that most of the time is being left out. for one reason or another. And a lot of us don't speak up and don't speak out, not only for the fear of the taboos of being part of the behavioral health world, but also a fear of deportation, especially when you're going through mental health issues. Or as an attempt survivor, I can tell you that the questions that I was asked once upon a time at the hospital were very scary, not only because I was being asked things about my health, but also my status at that time. Now I have dual citizenship. I'm Mexican and I'm American, and I feel it's my responsibility to bring um, this awareness to all of you guys, because if you have never been through it, you're not going to think about, oh, what happened with the immigrant community, what happened with the mixed status families, what happened with the U.S. citizens and the naturalized U.S. citizens, the naturalized, I'm sorry. So just wanted to just give you guys heads up, and just beg you and ask you, and it's your responsibility not to forget about my community, the immigrants, monolingual Spanish speakers. Not all of us are undocumented, and even though if we were undocumented, we still deserve to be treated with respect and dignity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yulissa.
Anybody else? Any other member of the public that would like to come off mute, ask a question, make a comment? All right. Well, with that, I will pass it back over to you, Raquel.
All right, we get to 10:29. Look how on time we are tonight, Council. Good job. All right, so I am going to call this meeting adjourned. Thank you for joining us this morning. Everyone have a fantastic day. Stay really warm the next few days.
Thank you
Thank
all
you
so
all.
much.
Thank you.
Meeting
Bye.
adjourned.
Bye, guys.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Stay warm, stay safe. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye, everybody.